All right, Kate, so we're working with anger today, right? And what can be really important is remembering that when we get to that kind of peak of anger, we're seeing red, all bets are off, right? That's just sort of how it goes. Our frontal cortex kind of turns off. We're totally engaging with like lower, more primitive parts of our brain, and it's really difficult. So the idea with working with our anger is try to kind of get on top of it, nip it in the bud before it gets to that eruption point.
Right.
And so it can be really useful for us to know what our cues are, know what kind of those little red flags are that start popping up, so that if we start seeing them, we can take some steps to calm down a little bit.
Okay.
So I'm wondering if we could spend a little bit of time here just thinking about what those cues could be and turning our attention to that good old kind of those categories of the 5-factor model to try to understand.
Right. Okay.
So what are our thoughts or our images, kind of those cognitions? What kind of moods show up? And often, you know, it's not going to be anger, but those moods underneath the anger that we're going to want to talk about.
Right.
What kind of things do we start doing that are cues that our anger is getting out of control? And how does our body respond? Okay? Where do you want to start?
Maybe the physical.
Physical, yeah.
Yeah,
We
I
often
feel-
feel it there pretty quick,
Yeah.
eh? Okay.
So that's for me a lot of that tension
Okay, and
It's like
specific. Where do you feel the
in
tension?
my like shoulders and my neck.
Tension in shoulders and neck. What else?
I get like really clenched fists
Clenched fists.
or like white knuckling when I'm
Uh-huh,
driving.
yeah.
Right?
White knuckling it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I get a lot of headaches.
Okay.
And hot.
Get really hot, yeah.
Hot.
And that's
Red
probably
face, that's
red face.
yeah.
And those often show up right in the moment, right? When we get that rush of heat.
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Okay. That's a pretty great list. Nice clear list there.
Yeah, that one's easy.
That
So
one
I
is
started
easy.
there.
Okay. What else is there? Where else should we go?
I guess for me the behaviors.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the yelling,
Okay.
swearing.
Uh-huh. Okay.
I'm like a cruncher, so I've stopped throwing things,
Oh.
but I smush things
You
or
smush
tear
them.
things up
Okay.
instead of smashing.
Smush, that's a word I don't spell very often.
Yeah, smush things.
Smush and scrunch.
And scrunch.
Okay, I'll do my best with that one. Scrunch and smoosh. Okay, so you're kind of, really,
Yeah.
that sounds like it's kind of born out of that tension.
Yeah.
All right. So yelling, swearing, smushing, and scrunching.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else here?
Not really, like angry texts.
Okay. Texting.
Yeah.
Okay.
But those are the big ones. I find the like
Okay.
the swearing and
Yeah.
stuff like that gets really the yelling.
Even as we are talking about it, how does it make you feel?
Yeah. Makes me
A
uncomfortable.
little uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Okay.
It comes quick. Like I find
Fast.
it's right there.
Yeah.
It's so accessible.
Sure. Okay. All right. Where to next, Kate?
I guess the moods.
Okay. What over here?
I think after kind of the anger is a lot of that like sadness.
Right. And you say after. Do you suppose there's any sadness underneath the anger leading up?
Probably.
Okay.
It's so hard to pay attention to that.
Yeah.
So I'm only usually aware of it after it's all over.
Right.
But usually the things that kind of are coming beforehand are things that have, kind of made me feel.
Okay. Maybe we'll have to pay a little attention to
I
that
think,
as we move
yeah,
forward, right? But
probably.
maybe there's some sadness
Mm-hmm.
there underneath the anger.
Frustration.
Frustration, sure. And that's kind of along that spectrum of what anger
Yeah.
is, yeah?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Guilt.
Guilt, sure. Okay, so some sadness, frustration, guilt.
Mm-hmm.
Those are those kind of softer, actually more difficult emotions sometimes
Yeah.
than anger, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Finally, what about this whole cognition thought area? What's up here?
The why me.
Why me?
Why me?
Okay.
Seems to be there a lot.
Uh-huh. Okay.
Um,
Any other ones?
These ones are harder. Definitely kind of sort of that like it's not fair.
Okay. answer why me? Why you?
Yeah. Well, why does everything happen to me?
Okay.
Why, you know,
So everything happens to me.
everything happens to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's never easy. It's
Yeah.
hard for me all the time. It's just hard. Everything's difficult.
So everything's hard. Everything's difficult. Yeah.
Nothing goes my way.
Nothing goes my way. Okay.
Seems like the world is out to get me.
We're all out together. Okay. Okay. So here is your kind of symptom fingerprint, right?
Mhm.
The way things look for you, Kate. When anger comes up for you, here's what shows up for moods, behaviors, physical responses, and our thoughts. And I suppose our job is to kind of figure out what to do with all this before it reaches that boiling point.
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Before the smushing and scrunching happens.
That's right. All right.